Welcome to Construction Week Viewpoint. My name is Oscar Russo, and this week we are looking ahead with palpable excitement to the latest real estate developments set to rise from the ground in 2019 and beyond. Joining me to bring the Middle East's property prospects into focus is Jack Ball, our senior online reporter. Jack, good to have you here again.
Oscar, great to be here, mate. Thank you again for having me.
No problem. So obviously, it's been a period, we're entering Q4 now. Real estate developers have announced, a string of new projects. There's a lot to be excited about.
No, absolutely. I think now is the opportune time to perhaps take stock of what we've seen over the past year and what we can expect over the kind of next 2 to 3 years. In the run-up to Expo particularly, we obviously, Dubai's hosted Cityscape 2018, which is it the biggest property expo?
It's one of the leading ones.
Yeah, for sure. I don't want to say it's the biggest. I'm sure there's a lot of big ones in the region. But yeah, Oscar, I know you and I and the team here, we talked to a few kind of the big players in the market at Cityscape. Who did you talk to? Sorry.
Well, obviously we spoke to a range of different people, and there were a range of different projects that were announced. It's difficult, Jack, when you're doing looking ahead to 2019 to go through all of the projects that have been announced this year, because there have just been so many projects. So when you just look at real estate and you look at the top kind of projects and the top kind of progress reports that came out from Cityscape Global, one that certainly stood out and one that's performed well, certainly online in terms of like traffic on Construction Week, is Arada. Now, the Sharjah-based developer made a series of announcements leading up to and during Cityscape Global. Modern Building Contracting Company was named as a contractor for phase 1 of the central hub for Al Jadar, which is Sharjah's mega project. Really, really big mixed-use development. Now, Modern Building Contracting Company was awarded an infrastructure package worth $28 million for the Al Jadar development. And Dubai-headquartered BIC Contracting, which was formerly known as LLG, won the contract for this infrastructure package, which is part of a total $270 million kind of total infrastructure package for Al Jadar. Now, of course, alongside that, a residential complex with greenery rooted in its design called Sarab Community was launched. This is an element within the Al Jadar mega project. Now, this will have, I think it's 109 townhouses and semi-detached villas built, as well as what's quite interesting is a subterranean gym and pools that will be completely hidden from the above ground world. We're hidden behind a canopy of trees and greenery. So this is kind of like part of Arada's push to incorporate nature into its real estate developments. And of course, Al Jadar is its flagship project, which attracted a lot of attention from property investors, the media, and of course the general public at Cityscape.
Was that a USP, the subterranean gym and pool?
I think definitely. I mean, I'm struggling to think of another developer that I can think of that has built a subterranean gym and pool that's completely hidden to the outside world. I think it's quite kind of interesting.
I think so. It's certainly not the norm, but I'm sure it might become the norm in 5 to 10 years.
Well, who knows?
Exactly,
who knows? Now, of course, Madinat Jumeirah Living was launched as well by Dubai Holding, and now this is a luxury residential project, 60 buildings, I think, part of a freehold development opposite the Burj Al Arab. Now, ground will break on the project, which I think spans over 35 hectares in 2019, with phase 1 due to be completed in around 30 months' time. Okay. Now, the project will feature kind of gated residential communities, a community centre, retail areas, and residential amenities such as a daycare centre, concierge services, basements, visitor parking, and swimming pools. It will also have an air-conditioned walkway to, get residents moving from Madinat Jumeirah Living to the souk at Madinat Jumeirah.
Wow, that's a really neat idea, actually.
It's a really, really exciting project. It's one, it overlooks as well the Burj Al Arab, and it's one of those final like prime pieces of real estate land.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah.
I mean, Oscar, I myself talked to Marjan as well. So, Marjan, as most people know, their main development is Marjan Island, which is a luxury development in Ras Al Khaimah. And they were looking to launch 2 mixed-use developments in 2019. At the moment, the firm boasts a land bank of kind of 1,900 hectares. And again, both of these developments that I talked with them about were in the zone of Al Jazeera Al Hamra, which is within a 10k radius of Al Marjan Island. And I was talking to the firm. They really wanted to make sure that they, Al Marjan Island is hospitality and beachfront kind of property as well. So I think with these mixed-use developments, they want to kind of move maybe a little bit away from that. Not saying that that's not a very viable and luxury destination, but they want to expand, into the commercial space and other kind of residential aspects of the market. So they're trying to cover their bases with more parts of the market. So I think there's a lot to look forward to, particularly there. And again, on the second day, I believe, of Cityscape, an Indian investor actually launched a $200 million mixed-use project at Al Marjan Island. And the project will include a 300-room hotel, and Discovery Fitness and History-themed entertainment park. So a lot of activity.
Discovery, Fitness, and History-themed entertainment park.
Exactly. You heard right, Oscar. Yeah. That is something that I need to pursue more about.
I would love to see how that is conceptualized.
Well, we'll have to. It's probably worth a visit, actually. I think we'll probably head down there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And of course, Bloom Holding as well is another company that, has always been very welcoming to Construction Week as well. They revealed plans to break ground on their flagship community development in Abu Dhabi, Bloom District, will start in 2019. Now, the developer has received approval from the Abu Dhabi Urban Planning Council, the UPC, and they've approved the total gross floor area, or the GFA, and of the 2.2 kilometre mega project. Now, Phase 1 infrastructure, Samir Matadi, the developer's chief executive officer, told Construction Week will get underway in the middle of 2019. And plans for the project, which is located near Abu Dhabi International Airport, include building around 4,000 residential units, 2 schools, markets, a food and drink outlet, and a hospital as well. So it's a fully integrated mixed-use community development. It's Bloom Holdings' flagship project. It's a long-term project, probably expected to be completed in around 15 years' time. Of course, with many of these projects, it will be developed over multiple phases. And it's going to be part of Bloom's affordable housing push as well. So, yeah, really interesting project there, and one to kind of keep an eye on moving forwards as well. Imkan was another developer that has kind of stood out. Of course, the recently rebranded as well. The project that they are really pushing is what's colloquially known as the Riviera of the Emirates. It's part of this kind of concerted push that we've seen from developers to build Riviera-style projects. We've seen Maras do it, we've seen Azizi do it. Imkan is now joining that kind of like push as well. And kind of the nucleus, if you like, of Riviera of the Emirates, or Sahil Al Emirat, is Al Jerf. Now, the Phase 1 construction contract for Al Jerf, which is a kind of residential and nature community, is going to be awarded in the first quarter of 2019. Now, it's a 3.7 kilometre squared project located in Gantut, which is between Abu Dhabi and Dubai. And it's located on a stretch of undeveloped coastline that Imkan hopes to transform into the first second home destination in the UAE. I was talking to one of their board members, and he said, we've got the tallest building in the world, we've got the thinnest building in the world, we've got the biggest mall in the world. But what Dubai and the UAE actually doesn't have, he said, is a proper second home destination.
Oh, interesting. That's a very interesting dynamic to see being catered to.
Yeah, exactly. And Al Jerf is all part of that Imkan's push to develop Sahil Al Emirat, which is a 30-kilometre stretch, into that second home destination. It's, again, another long-term project that... What's really exciting about this project is it's completely surrounded by nature, but you're only 40 minutes drive, respectively, to Abu Dhabi and Dubai.
Oh, so you can feel like you're kind of exiting the craziness that is Abu Dhabi and Dubai, and you can get back to nature.
Yeah, and it's located in a protected nature reserve as well, and you have wild turtles and gazelle and protected tree species as well. It's certainly a development to look out for.
I might certainly pitch a site visit there, absolutely. You pitched it well, Oscar. Damac too has been very busy. The construction of their first regeneration project, Mina Sultan Qaboos waterfront in Oman, will start very soon. They confirmed that with the team.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting project, Jack, because what that project demonstrates is a new strategy emerging for Damac, which hitherto has been well known for being a luxury development, or a luxury developer, I should say. But now we're seeing Damac move into urban renewal and regeneration projects, maybe tapping up the hipster trend that we've seen in London, New York, Chicago and Manhattan, with gentrification, transforming old areas. And of course, Mina Sultan Qaboos waterfront is one of those projects. Preliminary building work for the project, which is valued at around $1 billion, will start kind of imminently, we're told. And this is a project that DAMAC is working on as part of a joint venture with Omran, Omani government.
Okay.
Yeah. And the port actually ceased commercial operations in 2014, and Oman's government was looking for a way to transform that port and redevelop it. So DAMAC came along. DAMAC had successful negotiations with the government, and last year they agreed to work together under a joint venture to transform the port, which had ceased operations, and turn it into a luxury mixed-use development. So that's a really exciting project, and DAMAC told Construction Week as well that they are exploring other regeneration projects in the region. And actually, DAMAC said that this could be the biggest regeneration project in the region to date. Certainly, it's DAMAC's biggest. And DAMAC's first.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, it's great to see developers embracing that side of the market. It's sad to see, Oman particularly has an incredibly rich history. So it's great to see that DAMAC has been engaging in conversations to try and hopefully keep some of that history alive. And,
of course.
Yeah.
And of course, the flip side of that, Jack, is that we're seeing a lot of new buildings built. And actually, some of the buildings that were built a while ago, 50, 60 years ago, they need to have new life. Breathe into them.
No, absolutely.
And this is part of that push. And maybe we'll see more developers move into this. Certainly you look at Wasl as well in the UAE as well. They're doing kind of similar projects to restore and preserve the architectural heritage of the UAE.
Yeah, it's really great to see, actually. Union Properties as well, Dubai-based developer, Union Properties. They unveiled a $680 million mixed-use development in its Dubai Motor City. Development, again, as Cityscape Global 2018, so that's very exciting. Described by the developer as a flagship project, so Avenue District is in its now second development phase.
Okay.
We're talking about a total project size of around just over 18 hectares. So it's pretty hefty.
Sizable project,
yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
And, away from Cityscape, Jack, as we were saying at the start of this podcast, it would just take hours for us to list all of the developments and new projects in the real estate space alone, let alone all the other segments of the market that Construction Week covers in this podcast. So looking back at some of the recent developments that have been announced just in the last 30 days, another story that performed actually really well online for Construction Week was Wasl Asset Management Group launched what it calls one of the largest new projects on Dubai's Sheikh Zayed Road. This is a 1.2 kilometre squared master development named Wasl Gate. Now, Wasl Gate, Jack, it's a freehold mixed-use development featuring 257 townhouses, 6,500 apartments, an Al Futtaim shopping centre, and Dubai's second IKEA.
Wow, I'm very happy about that last point. I do love a good IKEA shop. And it also features the hypermarket and then the usual list of dining, retail, entertainment outlets. But that's a huge number, Oscar. 257 townhouses, 6,500 apartments, and obviously they have been in talks with Al Futtaim, the retail giant, as we all know. With the shopping centre
it's a big old project and one that certainly attracted the interest of readers on Construction Week. And of course, we've touched on Oman. There are so many projects that have been launched in Saudi Arabia. Some that spring to mind include the villas Dar Al Khan launched as well. Sreco also, they created a $400 million development fund to work on projects in Riyadh, right?
No, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So it's so much activity, and the team, we know that we get kind of PRs daily coming to us and new projects being announced, and so it's all very exciting. So do keep an eye out on the website because no doubt you'll see a lot of these projects being covered by us.
Shameless plug, but
I'm shameless, Oscar. Sorry, buddy. Yeah,
no problem. That's absolutely fine. Well, I think that's a good point to leave it on, Jack. Yeah. Well, you've been listening to Construction Week Viewpoint. We publish new videos every Monday at midday. If there's a topic or an area of the market you would like Jack, myself, and the entire Construction Week team to look at, please do get in touch with us. We'd love to hear your feedback and we'd love to hear your thoughts on how we can take the podcast forward. Until then, don't forget to subscribe. And thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.